Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, as I have promised you some time ago, will be about the wall in Israel and who has visited that wall. I will try my best to show you, especially the so-called leaders, some of who you probably still admire, who have visited this wall, who have touched it, left a message. I wonder what kind of message, but that's another story. Wall is the wall, everyone. This is the wall in Israel. Something that I didn't know much about, and probably I still don't know much about, but I find it very interesting that it's almost like a form of ritual or acknowledging who do you serve, if that makes sense. That's why I think it's important to pay attention who's going to that wall or maybe around this wall, because my video today will present to you some images, some websites, some stories, as well as we're gonna end with many people call him crazy guy, Nick Fuentes. You're familiar with him probably. I think it's an interesting point that he brings in one of his latest videos, and we're going to end with him saying a few words about J.D. Vance visiting Israel. But I want to start with a brief description, because to someone who has no idea why this wall is so important, so what Google tells you, if you Google the wall, the Wailing Wall, if I mispronounce, sorry wall, that's what you get. The Wailing Wall refers to the Western Wall, the last remaining part of the second Jewish temple in Jerusalem, which was destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. It is a holy site for prayer and pilgrimage where Jews mourn the temple's destruction and pray for its restoration. The term wailing came from European observers witnessing Jews praying and lamenting at the site, while the more common Hebrew name is kotel or kotel. So how significant is it? It has a religious importance because it is considered the holiest accessible site in Judaism, because it is the closest point to the Holy of Holies in the destroyed temple. It's a site of prayer. Many Jews pray there, and it is common for visitors to place small written prayers in the cracks of the wall. And it's a symbol of hope. The wall symbolizes the Jewish people's connection to their history and their hope for the future and the rebuilding of the temple. So that's what you get when you go to the official Google translation explanation site. But now we're going to go through the videos. Let's go first through this very quick video of some of the leaders that went there. And I will stop on one leader. We're going to make sure that we didn't get it wrong, that he was there. Well, Trump, we know for sure was there. But let me mute myself. I'm going to play this video. There is a music there. And yeah, let's take a look. Yes, this is Putin, and we're gonna go to him as well in a moment. All right, so that was quick, and of course this was not everyone, but who have you seen? I am of course going to attach the link down below in the description box. You've seen Trump, you've seen DeSantis, who is the governor of Florida. You've seen Bush, I think, Prince William, you've seen Putin, and you've seen many others. So we're gonna go through more, but let's go to Putin. I really wanted to know, since, lately for quite some time, I was thinking, this is the only leader that is actually like out of it, right? Like he's not doing it for sure. Like I'm not buying that he's doing it. However, I don't think like this anymore. And there are many reasons for it. If I have to explain it again, maybe I will dedicate an entire video to it. For sure I will. So let me just tell you, if you say, Anya, you don't trust AI, that's okay. First, we're going to look at AI, what AI knows, or maybe is misleading us. So first, what you see, how many times Putin visited the Wailing Wall was my question. And the answer was Vladimir Putin has visited the Western Wall a total of 3 times. I thought it was just once, but 3 times. His visits occurred. The first one, before he was elected president, date unspecified, so maybe AI is lying. In April 2005, during Passover, as part of his first visit to Israel as a Kremlin leader, and in June 2012, during a late-night visit to the old city of Jerusalem. All right, so let's close this. So maybe not everything is true, but we have some pictures, of course we do, and we also, so let's look at the pictures first, because there is quite a number of them. This is the one that I actually just showed you one of those. So this is from this visit in 2005. You can see the real Putin here. And his visit, okay. I think this is the second visit right here, but I'm not sure. Definitely this is, and we have the article. So this article is, everyone, from, let's look here, from 27th of August, or I'm sorry, no, it's from June. This is from 26th of June, 2012. So this is from 2012, okay. So my mistake. Putin visits Western Wall. But this article says few things that actually confirming what AI has said. Russian President Vladimir Putin visited the Church of Holy Sepulchre and the Western Wall overnight Tuesday. So this is the second visit of his. Putin arrived at the old city and at 1:30 a.m., saying that he did not want to miss out on visiting the 2 holy sites, which have a special feeling. Special feeling. This is the 3rd visit, right here, guys. This is the 3rd visit of the Russian president to the Western Wall. His first visit was before he was elected president, and his second visit was in 2005 during Passover. So AI probably took the info from this article. Throughout the visit, Putin demonstrated curiosity, asked many questions on the history of the place, and spoke about the Jewish connection to the holy site. Quoting him, "You can see how the Jewish past is engraved in Jerusalem stone." Yeah, that's what Putin said. The last night visit followed a busy day of meetings with top Israeli officials, including President Shimon Peres and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, because he was already the Prime Minister, and Foreign Minister Avigdor Lieberman. All right, so let's leave Putin alone, because clearly he's okay with the wall 3 times. Maybe 2 times only, because the first one we haven't seen, maybe more than 3 times. God only knows. Yes, I am sarcastic, because you know what? If you come to the point when you realize that all of them are just absolutely fake, and they are manipulating people in order to remain in power, control the situation. I mean, please don't tell me this is the love for the nation, for the wall and whatever. So let's go on, because I get a little bit aggravated. So yesterday, you know who visited the White House, right? Viktor Orban from Hungary. So let's first take a quick look at this meeting, just a quick look. By the way, I really like Hungary, and I think Budapest is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. But it's not about that, it's about Viktor Orban. So let's take a listen to what he's saying here.
May I have a comment on that? Language is important because the Anglo-Saxon terminology is different from the European one. So to use categories can create some misunderstanding. So I would like to be clear as much as we can. We are the only government in Europe which considers itself as a modern Christian government. All the other governments in Europe are basically liberal leftist governments. So we tried to do something from 2010, which
So he said that Hungary is, well, his government is the only one modern Christian, right? Government. So now let's take a look at this video, guys, because, you know, I just look it up. It's actually easy. You can find things if you have time. Most of people don't. So maybe my videos bring you some value, and if they do, make sure to hit the like button. So here we go. Viktor Orban. You don't need a sound. He's visiting the wall, putting something in between the cracks of the stone, touching it. Yep, you sure? This is 7 years ago, so even Viktor Orban, yep. Surprise, surprise. And whatever signature there, another holy book. So let's end it here. Clearly Viktor Orban, and the video says this is AP archive. Now, just a question here. So in this case, how is Chabad Lubavitch? And I know this is the video about the wall, but Chabad Lubavitch, the wall is very important. So let's look into the presence of this very, very unhealthy movement with crazy tunnels in Brooklyn, New York City, under the headquarters of Chabad Lubavitch, Budapest. How many locations, everyone? This is official website. This is just in Budapest alone. In Hungary, that's what's up. So things are going well. Everything under control, or how German would say, alles in Ordnung, yeah? So now, guys, a few more people to show you. And you don't need the sound, because I will be just showing you the image. And here we go. Maybe not many people care. This is Floyd Mayweather, which many of you know. The satanic stuff he's pretty familiar with. So he's visiting the wall as well. Yes, he's heading there. We don't have to watch the entire video, but he's going there. And now let's go to a quick description about this wall, and then we go to the article that one of you have emailed me, and I'm going to read part of it, maybe not the entire article, but let me take you to this video, and this gentleman will be explaining what this wall is about.
Wall in the Jerusalem then?
Well, the wall in Jerusalem was built Talmudically.
This is not the wall from the second temple?
The temple. This wall, the Wailing Wall, is a counterfeit wall. It was created by Talmudists going back centuries ago. It has nothing to do with the real wall of Jerusalem that's going to be surrounding the temple according to Revelation.
So every person that goes to Jerusalem wears this hat and bows his head to the wall. The wall is.
It's Talmudic scholars built that, and they could no rabbi when it was first designed centuries ago could even pray to whoever they were praying to without wearing those phylacteries. The black cube was Saturn, and which represents a serpentine strap. We're not talking about our Jewish brothers and sisters, right? But the praying wall where every president, every king, in other words, the entire world is influenced by Zionism.
So there you have it, everyone. That was quick, but I want to take you, and apologies for the delay. Sometimes it happens due to the internet connection. I want to take you to one more video before we go to the article, and this is about President Trump, because it's pretty confusing. Is he Christian or is he not Christian? We know that his daughter Ivanka is Jewish, or Zionist Jewish. You just don't say Zionists. Pretty much I think most of his family is, but again, I might be wrong. So let's go to this video.
Okay, let's hear it.
What's the president's religion?
What's the president's religion? The president is a Christian and he believes in Jesus.
But it shouldn't be any surprise, because it was actually reported by some mainstream media people.
Sorry, everyone. It happens sometimes. I know it's frustrating for some of you, but let me close it and play it again. Maybe it will be better this time. Or maybe someone is not wanting me to play those videos. I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, let's hear it.
What's the president's religion?
What's the president's religion? The president is a Christian and he believes in Jesus.
But it shouldn't be any surprise, because it was actually reported by some mainstream media people in 2017. But then they covered it up very quickly after that Donald Trump converted to Judaism.
Donald Trump converted to Judaism 2 years ago, according to White House official. There it is. That's his blog. He said, President Donald Trump converted to Judaism 2 years ago and joined Chabad Lubavitch synagogue in New York City, according to a high-level White House official.
So it looks like it's really hard to watch this video, but I will attach the link down below. It will be easier for you to watch it. I'm going to save the suffering for you. So if he converted to Judaism, and actually Chabad Lubavitch was mentioned, that is, you know, the headquarters in New York City, and the White House, they confirm it, but it was not announced. So I'm really confused. I'm really confused. And when you have too many questions, do you trust people? When there are too many question marks. So let's go to this article, because someone has emailed this to me, and I want to read it. To those of you who know more about this wall, make sure to put in the comments down below. I never came across this website. I don't know what is this. But there are some things here that maybe will bring some information. Manufactured history, how biblical archaeology was weaponized for Zionist expansions. One of the most deeply ingrained myths in biblical archaeology is the belief that the Wailing Wall, Hakotel HaMaravi, I mispronounced for sure, located in Jerusalem's Old City, is a surviving remnant of either Solomon's first temple or Herod's second temple. This claim has been repeated so often that it is treated as an unquestionable fact. Yet, historical, archaeological, and textual evidence completely contradicts this narrative, undermining the very foundation of Zionist claims to exclusive Jewish ownership of the site. The origins of the Wailing Wall, a Roman fort, not a Jewish temple. So just before I continue, a while back I was playing a video for you. It was a lady explaining the true history of it and how this is connected to the Temple of Satan, but you can watch my previous video to find it. So the origins, contrary to popular belief, the so-called Wailing Wall is not a remnant of the Second Temple, but almost certainly a part of the Roman fortress Antonia, built to house the occupying Roman 10th legion that controlled Jerusalem. So if this is part of the Roman fortress, then it was built to control Jerusalem, okay? Someone left a comment under my video yesterday that it was built by British 400 years ago, but I never heard of it. So if you know more, you're welcome to share your knowledge with us. So number one, the Wailing Wall does not align with the temple's location. The biblical description of Solomon's temple and later Herod's expansion of the Second Temple place it in a completely different location. Josephus' accounts and other historical sources describe the temple as situated on higher ground than the existing Wailing Wall. Next, the Gihon Spring area, not the current Temple Mount, contains archaeological layers suggesting earlier Hebrew worship, reinforcing the idea that the real site of the Hebrew temple is elsewhere. And the third, the modern Temple Mount structure is entirely absent from early Hebrew religious texts. No definitive Hebrew source identifies the Wailing Wall as a remnant of the temple before modern times. Next point, the Wailing Wall structure resembles Roman fortresses, not Jewish temples. Okay, so the massive Herodian-style stone blocks, so those stones that they put the messages or prayers in between them, used in the wall, are not unique to Hebrew architecture. They match Roman military construction techniques used in other Roman garrisons across the empire. So just by the architecture alone. The next, the layout of the structure more closely aligns with Roman fortresses, particularly the Antonia fortress, which was constructed by Herod himself to serve the Roman military. And the third one, other Roman-built retaining walls and structures from this period in Jerusalem share the same design, yet only the Wailing Wall has been arbitrarily claimed as a temple remnant. So guys, other Roman-built retaining walls and structures from this period in Jerusalem. So there's more places like this that have the same design. Yet only this wall claims to be as a temple remnant. You see? Let's continue. Early Hebrew religious texts never mentioned the Wailing Wall as a holy site. Why? Perché? Почему? The Talmud, compiled after the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE, never references the Wailing Wall as a place of Hebrew worship. Instead, Hebrew texts lament the loss of the temple in its entirety with no acknowledgement of a surviving portion. And if the Wailing Wall had been a sacred relic of the temple, early Hebrew historians, religious leaders, and even pilgrims would have mentioned it, yet there is complete silence until modern times. And so, the invention of the Wailing Wall myth. If the Wailing Wall is not part of the Hebrew temple, how did it become the most sacred Hebrew site? The answer lies in political necessity, colonial manipulation, and Zionist myth-making, not history. Voila, everyone. So, the Wailing Wall was a minor prayer site under Islamic rule. Under Ottoman and earlier Islamic rule, Jews were permitted to pray at various locations in Jerusalem, including the Mount of Olives, but the Wailing Wall was never the central focus of Jewish worship. The Western Wall was actually referred to by Muslims as the Burak Wall, linked to the Prophet Muhammad's night journey in Islamic tradition. Boy, oh boy, how twisted is the story of this wall. Hebrew communities were not restricted from praying near the wall, but never regarded it as the holiest site in Judaism until much later. Oh, so who came up with the idea, I wonder? British colonialism and the reinvention of the Kotel. During the British Mandate, so maybe this is from this comment that was hinting at it. So, British built the wall, Zionists, here we go. During the British Mandate period, 1917 and 1948, so let's just remember Bolshevik Revolution, right, everyone? This is it, 1917, am I correct? Zionist leaders aggressively rewrote history to manufacture a Jewish claim over Jerusalem. Jewish nationalist movement founded by European Zionists rebranded the Wailing Wall as the last remnant of the temple, despite the complete lack of evidence. So can I just say before I continue, isn't it pathetic when those leaders go there and they act as if this wall is so significant? Wouldn't you be ashamed, if you know this, for all those so well-educated, so experienced leaders to go there and not know the true history of this, of those bricks, you know? Bricks, here we go, bricks again. British officials encouraged and legitimized Zionist historical distortion to facilitate Jewish settlement in Palestine, setting the stage for Israel's later occupation of Jerusalem. So here we have the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, well, Rothschilds, right, mainly. Here, that's the project. And number 3, the destruction of the Moroccan quarter in 1967. When Israel seized East Jerusalem in 1967, the first action taken by Israeli authorities was the complete demolition of the Moroccan quarter, a centuries-old Palestinian neighborhood. So sad, for real. Over 135 homes were bulldozed overnight. Guys, can you imagine? 135 homes. Displacing Palestinian families to create the large open plaza in front of the Wailing Wall that exists today. So now anyone who goes to that wall, he has to walk through that open large plaza, and you are literally walking over the place that was before having homes, people living there. So for, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they were destroying those homes with people inside of them. This act of ethnic cleansing ensured that the Wailing Wall would be transformed into a political nationalist symbol, rather than a contested historical site. I apologize for my English, guys. Sometimes I have more difficulties reading depending on the day. The political weaponization of the Wailing Wall. By rebranding the Wailing Wall as the holiest site in Judaism, Zionists created a powerful nationalist symbol that serves multiple strategic functions. 1. Justifying the occupation of Jerusalem. The Western Wall myth is a central pillar of Israeli claims to the Old City and the Temple Mount. By falsely portraying it as a sacred Jewish relic, Israel justifies denying Palestinian sovereignty over Jerusalem. Number 2, erasing Palestinian and Islamic heritage. The destruction of the Moroccan Quarter and the rebranding of Islamic religious sites as Jewish holy places serve to erase centuries of Palestinian history. The Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock are continuously threatened by Zionist groups seeking to replace them with a third temple based on these manufactured myths. Number 3, militarizing religious identity. The Israeli military uses the Wailing Wall for nationalistic ceremonies, reinforcing the idea that Israel is in a perpetual religious war against Muslims and Palestinians. IDF soldiers take oaths at the Wailing Wall, transforming a historically insignificant site into a militarized symbol of Jewish dominance. The reality, the Wailing Wall is a Roman structure, not a temple remnant. The Wailing Wall is not the last remnant of the Hebrew temple, it is the last remnant of Roman occupation. It was built by the Romans, built by the Romans for the Romans, not by Hebrew temple builders. It was never regarded as a significant Hebrew religious site until the 20th century. Its mythical status was deliberately manufactured to support modern Zionist territorial claims. The fact that millions of people still believe in this historical fraud is a testament to the power of propaganda, not the truth of history. So I'm going to attach the link down below in the description box. You can read it yourself. I apologize for how I was pronouncing all of it. But yeah, I mean, do I believe this article is accurate? Actually, I actually do. I believe that's accurate. I think maybe we should end with Nick Fuentes. I just want to warn you guys that he curses a lot. So when his cursing disturbs you very much, then just focus on the pumpkins that he has behind him. That will help. So let's take a listen to what he has to say. In case of the leader goes to Israel, but he does not visit the wall, if it's still okay or not.
And Vance, when he's in Israel, he doesn't go to the Wailing Wall. He doesn't go to the Western Wall, the remnant the Jews claim from the Jewish temple. Instead, he goes to a church. And people say, oh, I like this. This is nice for a change. Vance has said it should be like this every time. Don't you understand, you fucking idiots? He's still in Israel. Don't you understand what he's there for? He's still there to pay his fealty. He's still there to bow his head and genuflect. But you think because he went to one UNESCO World Heritage Site instead of another, people are saying, oh, this is based. They're planning the conquest of Jerusalem. They're planning another crusade. You're playing with dolls, you fucking faggot. Seriously? How gullible you people are. And by the way, Charlie Kirk was doing the exact same thing. It's called a rebrand. They know that this old pro-Israel consensus is falling apart. They know that nobody in the under 40 crowd believes in that anymore. They know they're going to need a new pitch, a new strategic pitch, a new ideological pitch for why we should maintain this relationship. And this is what they came up with. It was too obvious to have our leaders going there and kissing the wall because it was humiliating. It was too obvious to give them all this money and say, they don't need us, we need them. That was insane. That just didn't make sense. So this is a subtle rebrand. It's like a logo change. And now when they brand the Israel relationship, they say, well, they're the custodian of the Christian holy sites. Charlie Kirk said the same thing. I support Israel because they protect the holy sites. Vance is there at the Christian. This is where Christ walked. And notice, as long as you're saying things like that, you're still supporting the Jewish control over Israel. You're still supporting the American alliance with Israel. You're saying, we don't want Israel to fall to the Muslims because they keep the holy sites even for us Christians. That's the pitch, dummy. That's what they're doing there. It is so obvious. And don't get me wrong, there's a Christian community that goes back thousands of years there, and it's an important one. But if you're really Catholic, you understand there's really no spiritual connection to the Holy Land. That's the whole message of the gospel, is that we have a spiritual temple. We don't have a literal temple with literal sacrifices, and we have a spiritual temple, a spiritual kingdom. And the line of David, the line of Abraham and Moses is now spiritual. You're spiritually an Israelite or a Jew because we're part of the covenant with Jesus, which is available to everybody. So when they say things like, well, they keep the holy sites, I say, I don't really care that much, actually. That's not actually going to do it for me. So what they're trying to do now is find a language to appease the angry America First crowd that will get them to go along with the new normal with Israel. Okay. We're not going to give them as much foreign aid, and all right, we won't kiss the wall, but you're still going to see them going over there at the Christian sites. We're still going to be developing missiles with them so that they can attack their enemies in the same way that Ukraine is. It's a distinction without a difference. They're going to obfuscate it, as they always have, and we will continue to be the patron of Israel without any of the benefits. That's the whole point. How dare J.D. Vance go there and say, they're not a client state? Why would you not? Of course they're a client state. Of course they are. What else would you call that? It's not good enough. They're our partner. They're our ally. No, they fucking suck. They're not a partner. They're not an ally. They're actually undermining our interests. They forced us out of the Iran nuclear deal. They sabotaged our diplomacy with Iran. They prefer ISIS to the Iranian forces, to the Shiite militias. They're not an ally. It's like, oh, we disagree on some things. There should be no daylight between us. So this is a rebrand, and this is getting you ready for another flavor of that classic U.S.-Israel relationship. This is just a new version. That's all that is, and I'm not gullible enough to look at the visuals here. It's always the fucking pictures.
So, as Jesus said, I believe he said, the kingdom is within you. But call this guy, Nick Fuentes, crazy. He's very controversial, this or that. But a lot of things that he's saying make sense. So it's another flavor, as he said. If, for example, J.D. Vance goes to Israel, but is not going to the wall, but the same deals are being made. The same ring is being kissed, however you say it. Guys, I might title this video in a very controversial way, and the topic itself is pretty controversial. So not sure how this platform will take it. That's why I appreciate your support. My videos lately have been demonetized, not all of them, but some of them, and as well as shadow banned, so they are not recommended to the wider audience, as well as many of you, even if you have your notification bell turned on and you subscribe, you still are not getting the notification. So make sure, if you want to remain subscribed, or if you haven't already, but we appreciate the little research I'm doing and some content I provide, to subscribe to my channel. But make sure to share it on other platforms that you have with those open-minded people who would be interested to learning a little bit more and sharing their knowledge, because I really don't know anything. I'm just coming across those things and trying to present to you what I came across. So the longer we go together, the more we're gonna learn. And we're seeking the truth. What is the truth? We are done with lies, BS, manipulation, fakery, and sucking our precious life force energy, our high frequency emotions for their purposes, for their serving agendas. I'm done with that. So thank you so much for your support. If you choose to support my channel, the best way is to donate on PayPal or become my monthly supporter on Patreon or on Locals. And if you have Instagram, make sure to follow me there. It's Ania K_44. Link is down below this video as well in the description box, as are every other video that I was playing for you today, including that long article. And that's all for today. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, leave the comments down below and let me know your thoughts. And that's it. Lots of love, everyone. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video. Bye, guys.